Good afternoon. You're listening to the Indie Author Show with Sue Miller. We're into November already. I can't believe it. I should, because I'm so busy publishing books right now, as with the run up to Christmas. And I know it's Black Friday coming up on Friday, but that doesn't really affect the book publishing. It's more, to be honest, it's for those with books on Amazon. It's American Thanksgiving on Thursday, and so they basically shut down for Thursday and Friday of this week. So that causes more problems than anything else, really. Is just trying to communicate with Amazon can be really difficult at this time of year. They're very, very busy, and if we're getting books out there and they're having to get them into print and to ship, we just have to give a little bit of time. So I think everybody's on high alert right now. Have you got any books that on your Christmas list kind of that you're looking for? I've asked for some information to come in on, just some comments to come in on my Facebook page, but I didn't really get any, because I'd like to discuss really what some of the best books of all time are. But what I thought I'd do this show, because I didn't get a guest at the last minute here, so what I thought I'd do is I'd give a rundown of all the team author books that are coming out, say November and December. And then maybe if I have any listeners, you could go to our website at www.teamauthoruk.co.uk. And if you go to the books menu, then you'll be able to see all of our books, and there's a link to buy them. So that's what I thought I would do today, is just talk a little bit about our indie authors. And I know they would very much appreciate if you had a look at one of their books. Just to, it helps them to get their ratings up on Amazon, and just gives them a confidence boost, really. We hope that you will consider buying a book, and possibly one from our indie authors. So I've just been kind of going through the list. There's quite a long list, actually, so bear with us as we just touch on some of them. We've got a couple that have just launched recently, just this past week, and then after my next track I'll tell you about some that are coming up. But Tales from the Travel Pouch, that is by Jude Lennon, one of our children's authors, and Jude and her partner Dom went on a trip, actually it was just a year ago. In fact, I think they just left probably a year ago today, and it was a year ago this week anyways, and they took Jude has mascots Lemmy and Flossie, and they took them with them on a trip to Central America. And so then Jude wrote a book of short stories about their trip around Central America, and it's lovely illustrated by Holly Bushnell, and it also gives facts of each of the countries that they went to. I think there was Peru, Bolivia, I'm trying to think, can't remember the other ones. Brazil, of course, was one. I think there was another one that they went to, but I think there was 5 or 6 countries that they went to, and those are all highlighted in the story. Now, Jude put a few photographs of Lemmy and Flossie on the trip in there, but most of it is very brilliantly illustrated by Holly Bushnell, and that just launched yesterday, and it reached number 1, at least in 2 categories on Amazon. So well done to Jude Lennon. So if you have a child, I would say this would be up to maybe 9-year-old, maybe even 10-year-old. So if you've got a child who's really into geography and places of the world, and maybe is doing a school project, I think you would find Tales from the Travel Pouch would be a very good purchase for Christmas. We also just last Saturday, had the launch of Sophie Spectacles. Now, Sophie is based on a real person, and the author is Sarah Griffiths, and she was a primary school teacher, and she met this little girl who really struggled with confidence, and this story is a beautiful tale about how Sophie put on these extra special glasses, and when she put them on, she was able to see the world in a different way, and all of a sudden she found that she had gifts and talents that she could share, when before she thought she had nothing to give, nothing to share. This is a project that Sarah has been really, really proud of, and has got some sponsorship to support her in trying to get this out to many schools, because we do know that children are struggling from self-esteem issues right now. And to be honest, we actually have Sarah Griffiths in the studio on my next show in 2 weeks' time. So we'll talk to her more about that and how it came about, and you know, just what's driven her to make to do this story. Sarah's done 2 other books as well. So if you go onto our website under teamauthoruk.co.uk, and under the books section of our website, you can see all of these books. We also just recently had Christmas Tales from the Woodpecker Tree. Now that is, again, another short story compilation by Leslie Rawlinson. And Leslie's just a wonderful writer. She used to be a teacher as well. And she's retired now, and she just writes beautiful stories. And some of them are somewhat based on reality of her life with her cats, or just when she's out in the countryside doing her walks. It's just, and it's beautifully illustrated as well by Carol Chevalier. And it's just lovely little short stories leading up to Christmas. So don't wait for Christmas to purchase this book. Get it now, and you can start reading to your children. Again, it's called Christmas Tales from the Woodpecker Tree. And the reason why she's called it that is because she does have a previous book out called Tales from the Woodpecker Tree. And it's a book of short stories, but not Christmas related. Then, let's see, we've had Angel's Rebellion. Now, this is, it's kind of a standalone, but it's also a follow-on in a way, because there's some of the same characters from Estelle Mar's first book, which was called Grace and the Ghost. Now, Angel's Rebellion is just, again, a brilliant book. I just keep pinching myself that I come into contact with such talented writers that we have. It's a difficult one to describe. It's a little bit of adventure. It's a little bit of intrigue, mystery, but it's also kind of about the spirit world and what possibly could happen if there really are angels and there's a heaven and a hell. So very brilliantly written. Estelle has a wicked sense of humor, and it's a really good novel if you would like to consider that for an adult on your Christmas list. We have Marcus Moldewarp. Now, Marcus is a little mole, and Jennifer Jones wrote this book. Jennifer is a scientist, actually. So she likes to write things. Her first book was about birds. It was called Barney and Rock on Barney. And this one is about moles. So it kind of includes things that Jenny loves about life. And she was a lecturer, university lecturer, soil scientist, actually. So she hasn't had the experience of working with young children, but she is very keen on getting kids to be engaged with the natural world. And so that's where her books are coming from. So Marcus Moldewarp is this cheeky little mole and his family and some of the adventures that they get up to. Now, she's going to be at Right Blend, which is an independent bookshop that is a big supporter of indie authors as well. And she's going to be there on the 1st of December, reading from her book. And you can go there. Right Blend is actually in Liverpool. It's in the Waterloo area of Liverpool. So anybody listening from that area can pop on over to see Bob Stone at Right Blend, which is WRITE Blend. And also, I should say that Leslie Rawlinson's going to be there on the 15th of December reading stories from her tales, Christmas Tales from the Woodpecker Tree. So we've also got Arthur B. Saves the Day. Now, Arthur is, again, a bee, and his stories are written by Sean Millay. Sean is also from Liverpool area. And Sean wrote his first book about a bee who had Arthur the bee who had hay fever. So as you can imagine, that's quite humorous, because how can bees collect pollen? How can he go out and collect pollen when he's allergic to the pollen? So that's a cute story. And then he's followed on with Arthur Bee Saves the Day. So how he helps the queen bee. Again, all of these books that I've been talking about are available for sale from Amazon, but they're also available at Bob Stone's bookshop, Right Blend, in Liverpool. So that's just a little snapshot of some of the books that we've got, and we'll come back and just talk about a few more that I know are coming up very shortly, a couple this weekend and some next week. I'd like to tell listeners about a workshop that we've got coming up. It's actually on Sunday, the 25th of November is the first part 1, and part 2 is Sunday, the following Sunday, the 2nd of December. Now, the first one on the 25th is by a Zoom. It's a Zoom workshop. Zoom, if you're wondering what the heck is Zoom, well, that's kind of just an online video conferencing system. It's free, so there's no... you just have to download the software onto your laptop or iPad. But the leader of the workshop is Julia Berg. Now, Julia is the owner of J. Berg Films out of London, and she's a creative producer. And what she does is goes around the country and finds stories, books, authors that she thinks has a chance at giving a good pitch for either a TV or a film, TV show or TV series or a film. So Julia, basically, she's brilliant. I've been on 2 of her courses now with some of my authors, and she just basically walks you through the whole pitch and how you need to create your pitch in order for producers or screenwriters to sit up and take notice. So if you're interested in that, again, you can just go to actually you can go to the Indie Author Show on Facebook or Team Author UK on Facebook and ask me for more information. So the next one, which is in the Chester area, it's just outside of Chester, is on the 25th of November and the 2nd of December. And as I said, the 25th of November one is actually by Zoom call, so you could be wherever you want. And then the 2nd of December is where you actually get to meet her in person, and that's at Vickers Cross Golf Club, just outside of Chester. We just actually finished our writers retreat for our second writers retreat of 2018 was held at Elkington Grange Holiday Barns, just outside of Whitchurch. So big shout out to them. They've fabulous hosts for us, and our caterer was Imelda West from Divine Food out of Warrington area. So we had a brilliant time. There were 19 of us, and we spent the weekend just writing, having a few workshops, having some laughter, and just some a lot of writing time, because we find that a lot of people, particularly indie authors who are not writing books for a living, they're one of their biggest stumbling blocks that they tell us is finding the time to write. So we have a writers retreat twice a year, and it gives the guests an opportunity to just be in a quiet place and have the opportunity to write. But we also give them some focus and some goals that they need to complete for the weekend. So thanks again to everybody that came to our retreat, and it was a very successful one. Our next one is going to be in March of 2019, and we offer it to past attendees first right of refusal, and then we'll open it up. We have no more than, we try to keep it to 20 maximum. So, and it usually is a sellout. So anyways, mark that down if you're interested. Again, you can go to the Team Author UK Facebook page, and there'll be more information on that when it's available to book. We just had another couple of books actually that launched recently. One is called The Enchanted Tales from the Fairy Kingdom, and that is by Lynn Robinson. And Lynn is a very special lady in my life, and she lives New Brighton area, and this book of short stories was inspired by her grandchildren, and they it's just little stories about Lynn and when she's taken her grandchildren out on walks to the woodlands or by the seaside, up into the mountains. And it's just stories about leprechauns and fairies and unicorns, and it's a lovely story. So if you have a child that is really into the fairy kingdom and unicorns and so on, then you'll love this little book of short stories by Lynn Robinson. Again, it's called Enchanted Tales from the Fairy Kingdom. And then for the more adult of us listening, Time to Wake Up, Your Life is Calling. Now, I had Irene Remily on the show a few weeks ago, and this basically is just a wake-up book. That's why it's called Time to Wake Up. It's if you know somebody or you yourself, you're in a rut and really struggling to know what's your direction, what should you be doing. You know, life has just gotten on top of you. It's a very, very short book, but it has such inspiring information and just bite-sized information, because sometimes when life is overwhelming you don't want to sit down and read this whole huge tome. You just need some help, and you need it now. So I would highly recommend Time to Wake Up, Your Life is Calling by Irene Remily. Now, we've got another launch coming up on Saturday. Again, I think this sounds like I'm just totally plugging Right Blend, Bob Stone, but that's because he's been so generous in inviting team authors to go there for their book launches. So this Saturday, the 24th, is the launch of It's Okay. Now, it does have a subtitle, which I don't think I'll say on air. So if you're interested in knowing what the subtitle is, then just go to the Indie Author Show or go to my Facebook page or website, and you'll find It's Okay by Ali and Joe. And basically, again, this is kind of part journal, part self-help book about how to get yourself out of this rut. It's changing people's lives, actually. So I really hope that people will get on board, and this book is not yet available on Amazon. It's available through their website. But if you would like to get in touch with me at Team Author UK, I can give you the links on how to buy this book, which is available. There's pre-orders now, and then it will be, you can get signed copies at Right Blend on Saturday the 24th. And I'm sure Bob Stone will also be carrying some copies in his shop. So It's Okay, ... I won't tell you the subtitle. You'll have to look it up. Again, if you yourself or you know of somebody who's struggling and just really needs a bit of a kick up the bum, really, and some help about moving on with their life, then I'd suggest that you take a look at It's Okay. Now, tomorrow, which I know this is live and a lot of people listen to this after the fact, so Thursday, which is the 22nd, I believe. Today's the 21st. Yeah, tomorrow's the 22nd. It's the launch of The Shoe Foxes. And this is by Sarah Wilson. And Sarah's from Wrexham. And she's actually doubly talented because not only is she an author, she's also an illustrator. So she wrote this lovely rhyming tale and she illustrated it as well. And it's about foxes who are absolutely obsessed with shoes. So Jude Lennon, I think you need to get a copy of this book, again, called The Shoe Foxes. And finally, on Saturday, we have another book launching called Music is in Everything. And this is by a fellow Canadian, Natalia Rojas. And Natalia is from Liverpool. Well, she's actually from Canada, but she lives in Liverpool now. And her illustrator is Sarah Gould. And they have just come up with the most delightful little story about Lola. And she's she's a dancer and she loves music, and it's how her and her mum go out for the day, and they just realize that music is everywhere. It's in the leaves that are blowing. It's in the music that we hear. It's in the cars that are driving by. It's it's just if you just kind of shut out the noise and listen with your ears, that you'll hear music everywhere. And again, as I said, Lola loves dancing, so it's a little bit for the little girl that you might have at home that loves music and loves to dance. I think you would want to get Music is in Everything, and it is, as I said, beautifully illustrated by Sarah Gould. So those are just a few of our books that are coming up. When I come back after this next track, I'm going to tell you about another one that's launching on Sunday. But you can also, most of these books are available, pretty much all of them really, are available on Amazon from their launch date. And then a lot of them are also at Right Blend in Liverpool, the independent bookshop. And then some of them, particularly those authors from Merseyside, you can get them at The Barn in Heswall. And The Barn is an independent artisans shop that's run by Samantha Petty, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got so many gift ideas. So I really highly recommend that you pop into The Barn if you are out Heswall way, and you can see our whole bookshelf of books as well. And then there's quite a few of them at Concept Corner, which is in New Brighton, and that is run by Hayley Matthews. So a big shout out to Hayley and to Sam for including our books in your shops and supporting independent authors. It's huge. We really, really appreciate it. As you know, it's very difficult for independent authors to get their books on the shelves of mainstream book shops. So people like Bob Stone at Right Blend and Samantha Petty at The Barn and Hayley Matthews at Concept Corner, we do take our hats off to you and send you a huge thank you and thanks for the run up to Christmas. So I hope you've got your pen and paper out. I'm just going to run through them again, but I'm also going to give you the website, www.teamauthoruk.co.uk. And if you go to that and click on books, you'll see those in 2018 that are already available from Amazon. And then there's a section called Coming Soon. And those ones aren't yet live, but will be in the next few weeks, really, before Christmas. So you can get the names of the books and the author names if you've missed them while you've been listening to this. And again, as I gave you some places that you could buy the books from, Right Blend at Liverpool, The Barn in Heswall, and Concept Corner in New Brighton. Now, not all the books are there, of course, so if there is one that you are particularly interested in, if you probably should have a look on Amazon if you can't find it in those other locations. Now, Sunday is a very special book launch. It's for Ghazala Jabin, who's a really good friend of mine who I've known for about 6 years now. And Gaz sadly lost her husband to pancreatic cancer a couple of years ago. And she's been through a lot, really. And this book is it's a tribute to her husband, Martin. It's also a fundraiser for Pancreatic Cancer UK. And it's also just a cathartic release for Gaz from what she's been going through. And it just takes you through the whole process and of what they went through from when they found out that when Martin was diagnosed, to losing him, and then all of the things that she's done to raise money for Pancreatic Cancer UK, hoping that it will help them to find a cure. Now she's raised well over £10,000 for them in 2 years. So big shout out to Gaz. Her book launch is Sunday the 25th at 2 o'clock or from 2 o'clock at the Deganwy Quay Hotel in Deganwy, which is right next to Conway in North Wales. So all are welcome to that. And her book will be live on Amazon that day as well. Loved, Lived, Lost, it's called. And it's basically just a bit of a love story as well as a sad story. So big shout out to Gaz. We did have Gaz on the show a few weeks ago talking more about hers. And if you go to the Team Author YouTube channel, you can find all my previous shows on there, and you'll be able to listen again to any of those that interest you. We've got a few more just to let you know that are coming up. Harris the Hedgehog, he's a lovely little hedgehog based on A.V. Turner's real life hedgehog called Harris, and he's such a cutie, and she's written this story, and a friend of hers has done the illustrations. Now the first book is already out and available on Amazon, and the second one about the Christmas run is coming out very soon, within the next week to 10 days. So have a look out if you know of anybody that has hedgehogs or loves hedgehogs. This will be a great book for them. Claire Capper. Now, Claire has been working on this book for quite some time, but it's nearly ready to go, and it will be launched before Christmas. And it's called Toddlers, Tips and Tantrums. So if you've got a person in your life who has a small young child in that toddler stage, or just coming up to the toddler stage, Claire's been a nanny for over 20 years. So Claire shares her tips on how to deal with different situations, and how just some help to get you through it. As I said, it is called Toddlers, Tips and Tantrums. So it is a tips book. It's small, but it's mighty because it has fantastic information that you won't want to be without. And again, it's illustrated by Lisa Williams, another one of our brilliant illustrators. Sportanova, the Winter Games, is coming up. Now, Sportanova is a make-believe planet, and where all sorts of different characters, animal characters, compete in a series of games. It was kind of, the first book came out in the summertime, and it was more kind of similar to, I suppose, like a Summer Olympics, even though some of the games are loosely related to actual games, but they're also made up by this very inventive and imaginative author called Richard Carpenter. So his Winter Games, so again, if you think of the one that the Summer Games and the Winter Games, that book is coming out in the next couple of weeks as well, and it's been illustrated by Alan Jones. So we look forward to that and see what these characters get up to. And in the Winter Games, Icebound is the third in the trilogy of the Lomax Goldmine series, and that was written by Mendes Harris. It launched just a few weeks ago. It's a great novel for anybody really who likes a little bit of adventure and mystery. Very well written, and it's a third in the trilogy, but you can read it as a standalone. And it takes place in Labrador, again in my home country, Canada. So lots of twists and turns in that book. Makes a great novel. Again, please have a look at that for a Christmas gift. Fireflies 3, The Legacy. Now, Fireflies, again, is a trilogy, and this is the third and final in the Fireflies trilogy by J.G. Nichols. And this book has a little bit of, the whole series, it talks about the Fireflies, which are very integral to the story, to the main character in the story, Sally. So I don't want to give too much away, but again, the third book can be read as a standalone. It's just basically, it's Sally as, the first one is about Sally when she's a little girl, and then Sally as she's a bit older is the second book, and now this one is Sally as an adult. And a lot of it takes place in Sarajevo, which is very interesting, actually. Most of it was set in Manchester or North Wales, but then the characters are in Sarajevo in the 90s when that terrible war was taking place. So it's gripping, and I actually cried at the end. So I really would highly recommend Fireflies 3, The Legacy. as a Christmas gift. So I know I've given you so many names of books and ideas for Christmas presents, but I really do hope that if you are a book lover and or you have friends or children who are book lovers, that you'd please consider purchasing an independent author book, because it really gives them a huge boost. Not to mention helps them towards their publication costs, because they don't have publishing contracts, they don't get the advances. All of this they're doing out of their own pocket, and it does cost a lot of money to get their book out, but they do it because they love it and they want to share their stories with readers. So I really hope that you will go to the teamauthoruk.co.uk website, and you can have a look there. I think that's probably the easiest place for you to go, and then you can click on the book. Once it's live, there will be a link to the bookstore on Amazon where you can buy it. If it's in the coming soon section, that means it's not yet live on Amazon, so you can't buy it yet, but it will be available in the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas. Guest on the next show is going to be Sarah Griffiths, who's an author of 3 books, and her latest, which just launched last Saturday, is called Sophie Spectacles. So I look forward to having Sarah in the studio, and we'll chat to her about her motivation, and she goes into schools loads. So we'll talk to her about what she's been up to and what she's got planned for 2019. So please listen in to that one. I guess I should give you the date, but it's 2 weeks from today. I think it's the 5th. Gosh, can it be the 5th of December already in 2 weeks? I think we better start thinking about our Christmas shopping. But you know what? I've given you loads of ideas. You can just go on to the teamauthoruk.co.uk website, and I'm sure there'll be a book for everyone in your life. But yeah, that's Wednesday the 5th of December is when I have Sarah Griffiths on. A few more books just to tell you about, which I should not forget. Bob's Beard. Now, Bob, what a brilliant book this is, and it is by, it's illustrated by Lisa Williams and is written by Faye Evans, and what a fantastic book it is. It will be available from Faye's website, and I shall have the link for you on my website as well, and also on the Team Author UK Facebook page. So I'll make sure that's available. It's not on Amazon yet, but it will be soon. So yeah, I'm just thinking what I'm going to do to make it easier for everyone is I'm going to create some kind of a graphic that has all of these book covers and links to get them. So I'll create that by tomorrow. By Thursday, I'll have that up on my website and all my other social media, so that you can see the books easily and how to, just in case you forget the name and you haven't been writing it down, and what their author names are, because they're easily found on Amazon as well. Another one that's already out it's by Jacqueline Audrey, and it's the Lily Jane Tales. The book 1 is out. It's about a little mouse and what she and her family get up to. So this is book 1 is available on Amazon now. Again, it's a lovely little fairy tale story for young girls, really, or boys as well if they like mice. Lily Jane is the main character. Bellamy Brickles and his Circus Dream, that is by Joe Pritchard, and that just came out a couple of weeks ago as well. So anybody who loves the circus or is obsessed with The Greatest Showman, then Bellamy Brickle would be a lovely book for you to purchase for your child, and again illustrated by Lisa Williams. And then The Railway Cat is by Ken Ashton, and that's coming out next week, and again illustrated by Lisa Williams. So a lot of we have some brilliant illustrators in Team Author. I've just mentioned a few of them, but that's not all of them by a long shot. Emma Corkish designed the It's Okay book for Ali and Joe, and And we've got Carol Chevalier and Alan Jones and Liat Kendror and Alex Jones and Alex Evans. We've got so many brilliant illustrators. Lisa Williams, I've mentioned already, hoping not to leave anybody out. Holly Bushnell, I mentioned her before. So if you are thinking of writing a book or publishing a book, we have everything that you need to be able to do that. Cover designers and illustrators. We do the formatting, the layout, and we help you through the minefield that is Amazon to get your book out there. And we help you with marketing and PR as well. So all sorts of things that we can help you with. We have writing courses, we have workshops, the film and TV workshop that I told you about from on the 25th of November and the 2nd of December. I'm just thinking there's just so much. If you go to our Facebook page, that's where we keep most up to date. And also there's links on our website as well. So a big shout out to those of you who are stressing about what are you going to buy so-and-so for Christmas. Well, I hope I've just helped you with this show and given you loads of ideas of books. And even if it's, even if you want to add a little something to the gift or you want a stocking stuffer or whatever, please consider one of our independent author books because they are very, very good. And then pass the word, leave a review on Amazon, because that really helps them as well. It helps them move up the charts, make more people aware that their books are there. It's just the way Amazon does things with their algorithms. So the more activity there is, the more people that are looking at their book, the more reviews that are left, and obviously the more sales that are made through Amazon, the more their book moves up the charts, and then it becomes more noticeable by the everyday punter on Amazon. So thanks very much for listening to the Indie Author Show this week. And as I said, you can listen again on Kellen FM from tomorrow. Just go to Wednesday's shows, and that's how you can find. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with our guest, Sarah Griffiths, talking about her children's books. And in the meantime, please enjoy the last couple of weeks of November as we move into this time of celebration and family time, which we call Christmas. Best wishes, everyone, and I'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.